Good morning. Halito, Ihaniwaste, Namaste, Buenos dias, Bonjour, Guten Morgen, Tanasteling. Thank you for having me here. It was an honor when Barbara contacted me and asked me if I would come and speak about my journey towards spirituality. And it's been a rather long and circuitous route for me. I began this journey in 1970 after, as Barbara said, a series of events occurred in my life that made me question what I had been taught previously about religion, about spirituality. The fact that I'm a seminary graduate, I'm not sure it really means anything except that I know a lot about the Bible, Old and New Testaments. I think being a seminary grad actually helped me walk away from all of that and realize that our connection with God has nothing to do with that. It has to do with our personal relationship with what we perceive to be God. It's when I came to the conclusion that God was a title, not a name. And that when we pray, when we talk, when we connect, we're connecting with that one thing that we perceive to be greater than we are. And some people have a hard time with that. And maybe that's why we have atheists or agnostics. That's an interesting word, agnostic. I have no idea what it means, but I like it. Being native and being raised and part of that culture also gave me insights, I think, that the average person doesn't get to have. And that is being raised with and within the natural world and being dependent on the natural world for your survival. And the time period that I grew up in the 40s and 50s, my family was a very large family. There were 11 children. I was one of 11. I was number 8 along the continuum there. And I was raised on a kind of a farm/ranch. And I rode herd with my grandfather until I was 17 years old. I even rode a bull in a rodeo once. The bull won, by the way. I think I lasted 2 seconds. But it's so difficult when you just stand still and talk. I've never done that before. In 1970, I made the decision to get clean and sober from alcohol and drugs. Well, probably before then, but that's when it kind of happened. As a result of that, I didn't use AA or NA. I went back to the reservation. I went back to my people. And I met a person, a man, who became my mentor. And he taught me those ways for the next 3 years. And he started by saying, I'm going to turn you inside out and upside down. And then you can put everything back together the way you think it should be. And for the next 3 years, he did just that. During those 3 years, I think I experienced maybe just 2 emotions: abject rage and abject terror. Sometimes fear is good. It's what keeps us from kissing rattlesnakes on the mouth. During that period of time, I also was put through ceremony. And I'm not going to go into that now because that's something that I probably shouldn't be talking about. But part of that was I was given a vision. And for 4 days, I went without food or water. And I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I meditated. And I yelled at God. Then I apologized to God. Then I yelled at God some more. And then I apologized to God some more. But it came down to, what do you want of me? What am I supposed to do? I don't seem to belong in this world, and I don't seem to belong in that world. So which world do you want me in? And as a result of that, I was given a vision, and I was shown what I was supposed to do. And that began my walk towards spirituality. I had no idea what that word meant. I had different definitions that had been told to me during my life, but I didn't know what it meant for me. Does that mean I have to be a really good guy? Does that mean I have to be like a priest or something, or a monk? Do I have to shave my head and live in a monastery, or what am I supposed to do? And it's almost like I heard this chuckle, and that's when it showed me, you're just to be who you are. Be your authentic self. I have no idea what my authentic self is. I think I'm a conglomeration of everybody who's come into my life, which is true. But then as the individual I am, I was also directed to take everything I have been taught and see where it fits. And if it doesn't fit, put it down and walk away from it. Don't throw it away because it might be useful to somebody else. Just put it down and walk away from it, which is what I did. I learned that, like the Buddha taught, that the way to end suffering is through compassion and mindfulness. Compassion doesn't mean that you're in agreement with anything. It doesn't mean that you approve of anything. It's not even really empathy. Compassion is the endeavor to understand. I learned that when I meet people that I think are just really nasty people, what I've learned to do is ask myself, what might that person have suffered in their lives to shape and mold who they are? Is it even their fault? And then I can look at them with compassion because I've endeavored to understand what it is that's inside of them that creates what I perceive as nastiness. And I could be wrong in my perception. I allow myself to be wrong. Everyone should allow themselves to be wrong, to be incorrect. Because if they didn't, then we would never endeavor to explore what being correct would be. And I'm incorrect a lot. When I first started this journey, I didn't know which way was up or down. I didn't know where the exit sign or the inner sign was, or were they the same in life. I began to talk about my vision. I began to talk about my journey. Was that an angel?
Something fresh.
I began to talk about what I have been shown in this vision, and that is that humanity is at a crossroad. The decisions we make now, the energy we put out into the universe now will determine our fate. Don't think because we are supposedly the most intelligent species to have ever been on this earth that we don't have an expiration date. We do. How soon that is, or how far away that is up to us. We've seen species come and go. We are the one being, the one creature that is capable of all the gamut, the whole spectrum of existence. We have emotion. We can experience love. We can experience hate. We can experience caring, uncaring. We're not sure that our brother and sister beings on this earth are capable of that. We hope so. We have them human. I have animals, I don't call them pets, and I don't name them human names. They're their own being. I don't try to make them like me. I'm not sure they would want to be anyway. Learning to appreciate life, not just living, life. Learn to appreciate your heartbeat. You're breathing in and breathing out. That you can move your finger. That's incredible. Just think about it. That's incredible. Who else can do that? That we love and can be loved. Humans are the only known creature that kills for pleasure. Think about that for a minute. I remember when I was 17, I used to be a hunter. I hunted. I killed deer, hogs, stuff. I remember 17, I drew down on a buck, about an 8-point buck, and he looked at me. You ever had a deer look at you? Those eyes. I actually threw the gun down and walked away. I never picked up a gun since. Even in the military, I would sometimes not carry my sight on. Although the people I was with at the time certainly wanted to kill me, I had no interest in killing them. As a field medic and a flight medic, my job was to put people back together, not to tear them apart. But then those guys, other guys out there in the jungle, wanted to do that to me. And I remember having a discussion with one of the chaplains one time. He said, "You must feel fear and hatred." I'm like, I don't feel either of those things. I don't hate that person. I don't even know them. They're fighting for their way of life, just like we're fighting for our way of life. Do I feel fear? No. Because there's an inevitable fact. From the moment you're born, you begin to die. It's just a fact. Maybe our goal is to make sure that in the interim we live. That we're not so concerned about dying that we forget to live. And we're not so full of life that we don't make plans for that event. In the language that I'm familiar with, there really is no word that describes death as a finite thing. There's only a transition. And in 1972, I had to have some minor surgery. I mean, just minor. You know. But as a result of the pre-op medication and the anesthesia, I died for 4 minutes. I was clinically dead for 4 minutes. I wish I had time to describe to you what I saw during that period of time. That would take the rest of this day, and I'm not sure that I have the language necessary to help you understand what I experienced. But what I did experience gave me the actual direction of this path that I'm on. Are you going to wave your finger when I don't have any more time? Okay. Walking toward spirituality is the easiest thing you will ever do. It requires nothing. You don't have to give up nothing. You don't have to even leave your home if you don't want to. We've just went through a year or so of some very scary stuff. This virus that was decimating all over. And so we shut ourselves in. We closed ourselves off. Now it's time, maybe, to stop doing that. Be cautious. Be wise. Exercise wisdom. See, to me, the definition of wisdom, when we take out the knowledge that we have and we put it to practical use. I can know everything there's to know in the world. I can be omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. But if I don't do anything with that, then it's useless. It serves no purpose. Wisdom is also not age-related. I've met teenagers that I thought had incredible wisdom. And I've met 70-year-olds that had not a whit of that wisdom about them. So it's not a matter of how much time I've been here. It's a matter of what I've done with the time that I've been here. I mean, people, some of my friends and some of the people who are on Facebook and stuff like that, they rag on me all the time about, Okay, you talk about this, but when's the last time you left your house? Well, I live way back up in the woods. Barbara's been there, Trevor's been there. And it's kind of this Eden-like place that I just am loath to leave from time to time. And so I venture out from time to time. Barbara and I have been talking about walking with is nothing more than a collection of things that have come to me during my meditation. I do walking meditation. Sometimes I have questions that I don't know the answers to. So I ask, hey, what's this all about? What do I do about this? And as I'm walking, I'm thinking, and all of a sudden there's that subtle shift in your thoughts. And all of a sudden information comes in. And I write it all down. I don't edit anything. I write it down exactly as it came to be, which is really weird sometimes if you read some of that stuff. The only thing I do is put in a comma here and there, make sure things are spelled correctly. But I don't edit anything because I was directed not to. I was directed to write this book. I was directed to join that social media thing, but start a page for this book. So people could come and share their wisdom. I'm not the end all there. I'm just the administrator of this page. I don't do anything. Sometimes I contribute, sometimes I don't. But when people do contribute, you get to see how much wisdom there is out there, how much beauty there is. I'm looking out in this room right now, and I'm going, wow, there's so much beauty here. Not just visually, but I feel it. I suspect that Barbara gave me a billboard thing that probably remember when I hope I don't disappoint. When you stop and think about that, I at that moment put a condition on what I was going to be doing here today, didn't I? Yeah. I hope I don't disappoint. That's a condition. Who was I going to disappoint? You, me, us, God. It doesn't matter. If either one of you leaves here today with something more than what you came, then it was successful. Walking with wisdom and with spirituality. The reason I say it's the easiest thing you will ever do is because it is. All you have to do is stop doing this and start doing this. Get rid of your angers and your hatreds and your biases and begin to pick up understanding, inclusion. We all have biases. I don't like mushrooms. Mainly because I'm allergic to them, but I wouldn't eat them anyway. They're fungus. Okay? We all have biases. Try not to make them blockades. See, we're really good at building walls. And I use that word on purpose. And they do work. Walls keep people, everything out. But then you also become a prisoner within those walls. As a healer, sometimes I have to make a determination on whether there's anything I can do for that person. Because some people need their pain, they need their illness, they need their suffering because it validates them. Plus, if I'm really good, I can get you to sympathize with me now, can't I? Oh my God, I'm old. I have cancer. I'm short. Maybe you come on my lawn for me. Is it working? Oh man. Anyway, but we do that. And when you meet people like that, love them. Love them. Feel that compassion. Be mindful that they are suffering. It doesn't matter if you see it as real or not real. It's real to them. As a mental health counselor, you don't get to see, you can't take an x-ray and say, there's that schizophrenia. There's that bipolar. You can't do that. You have to listen. You have to listen compassionately and objectively in order to help somebody. And when you do that, you see change occurring. How many here hear change as a scary word? Let me just see. Yeah. But do you know what is going to happen anyway? Whether you're afraid of it or not, change is going to happen. I think the secret is to be in charge of the change, be the director of the change, rather than a victim or just going along with it. I think that's important. You've heard that old saying, you know, be the captain of your ship, of your fate. All of you here, and those of you on Zoom, by the way, thank you for those people on Zoom for tuning in and listening. But all of you here, you came here, you got up this morning and came here for a reason. When you leave here today, take that reason with you and share it with at least one other person. That's important. That's very important. And in the last couple of minutes here, I would like for you all to look up here at me for just a minute. I love you. And there's nothing you can do about that. Thank you.